In the bustling heart of an anthill, where every ant had a job and every crumb was counted, lived a little ant named Pip. Pip was the smallest in his colony, and often, by the time he got to the food pile, only the tiniest of specks were left. One sweltering afternoon, after a long and fruitless search for food under the blazing sun, Pip's little legs gave way. He lay on the hot sand, his antennae drooping, his tiny stomach aching with a hunger so big it felt like a heavy stone. He had found nothing, not a single grain of sugar, not a fallen seed. The world began to blur around him, and he felt a deep sadness, a lonely feeling that he was too small to survive in such a big world. Just then, a larger ant with a striking reddish hue was marching by. His name was Rusty, and he was known for his strength and diligence. He had just returned from a successful foraging trip, carrying a huge, magnificent breadcrumb on his back. It was a prize find, fluffy and sweet, enough to feed him for days. He was heading straight for his personal storage chamber, already imagining how good it would taste. As he hurried along, he almost stepped right over the tiny, motionless form of Pip. He paused, annoyed at the obstacle, but then he looked closer. He saw Pip's frail body, his droopy antennae, and the faint quiver of his legs. Rusty recognized the look of deep hunger and exhaustion. He saw another ant, weak and in need, and his first thought was to keep moving. It wasn't his problem, was it? He had worked hard for his crumb. If he shared it, he would have less for himself. He took another step, but then something stopped him. He looked at his giant breadcrumb, and then back at the little ant, who looked like he wouldn't last another hour. He remembered a time when he was young, lost from his trail, and an older ant had shared a drop of nectar with him, giving him the strength to find his way home. That small act of kindness had saved him. A warmth spread through Rusty's chest, melting away his selfish thoughts. Was having a full belly for a few days worth leaving a fellow ant to suffer? He gently lowered his precious cargo to the ground. He carefully broke off a small piece, one that was still quite large for an ant of Pip's size, and nudged it towards the little ant's face. The delicious smell of fresh bread seemed to work like magic. Pip's antennae twitched. He slowly opened his eyes and saw the incredible feast right in front of him. He looked up and saw the big red ant, Rusty, looking down at him with a gentle expression. Pip was too weak to speak, but his eyes filled with gratitude. He took a tiny bite and then another. The bread was the most wonderful thing he had ever tasted. Energy surged through his tiny body. He felt life returning to his limbs, the heavy stone of hunger lifting from his stomach. He managed to sit up, his body trembling slightly, but his spirit soaring. Rusty watched as Pip ate, and a strange feeling washed over him. It was a feeling even better than the satisfaction of finding the breadcrumb in the first place. It was a deep, quiet joy, a happiness that came not from having, but from giving. Seeing Pip regain his strength made Rusty feel stronger too. He realized that his breadcrumb, when shared, didn't just feed one hungry ant. It created a bond, a moment of connection that nourished them both. He He broke off another piece for Pip, and then, to Pip's surprise, Rusty broke off a piece for himself. They sat there together, under the vast blue sky, two ants from the same colony, sharing a meal. It was no longer just Rusty's breadcrumb, it was their breadcrumb. The world suddenly felt less harsh, less lonely. When Pip had eaten his fill and his strength was fully restored, he stood up tall. "Thank you," he chirped, his voice clear and strong now. "You saved me. I will never forget this." Rusty just nodded, a smile on his face. "We are all part of the same hill," he said simply. "When one of us is weak, we are all weaker. When we help each other, we all become stronger." From that day on, Pip never forgot Rusty's kindness. He grew up to be a strong and hard-working forager himself, but he always kept an eye out for the smaller, struggling ants. But whenever he found a large piece of food, he would remember that afternoon in the sun. He would remember the feeling of despair and the overwhelming joy and relief that came from a simple act of sharing. And so he always made sure to share. He would break off pieces for others before taking his own share home. His actions started a ripple effect. The ants he helped went on to help others. The spirit of generosity spread through the colony. The anthill became a more cooperative and caring place. Fights over food became less common, and the ants worked together more efficiently, ensuring that everyone, even the smallest among them, had enough to eat. Rusty, watching all of this, felt a profound sense of pride. His one small act of kindness had blossomed into a culture of compassion. He learned that the true value of what we have is unmeasured by how much we can keep for ourselves, but by how much we can share with others. The joy of hoarding a treasure is fleeting, but the joy of giving is a light that continues to shine, warming not just the receiver, but the giver as well. The breadcrumb was long gone, but the lesson it taught them nourished the entire colony for a long, long time. It wasn't just about sharing food. It was about sharing strength, sharing hope, and sharing a little bit of your heart. This simple story of Pip and Rusty reminds us of a powerful truth. We all have something to give, whether it's a kind word, a helping hand, or sharing what we have with someone in need. A small gesture can make a world of difference to someone who is struggling. It can be the breadcrumb that gives them the strength to carry on. Sharing doesn't leave you with less. It enriches you in ways you can't imagine. It builds stronger communities and a better world for everyone. Kindness is a language that everyone understands, and it's the most valuable currency we have. So, look around you. Who in your life could use a little help today? Maybe it's a friend who's feeling down, a neighbor who needs a hand, or a stranger who just looks like they're having a tough day. You have the power to be the Rusty in someone else's story. You have the power to turn their day around with a simple act of generosity. Sharing is the foundation of love and community. It's what connects us and makes us human. Let's make our world a little more like that anthill, where everyone looks out for one another. If this story touched your heart, please share this video to spread the message of kindness and generosity. Let's inspire more people to share what they have and make the world a better, more caring place, one act of kindness at a time. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe for more stories that warm the heart and feed the soul.